And now, around the world and around the corner, it's the David Bowers Awards, bringing the best in indie music to millions of listeners worldwide with your host, The David Bowers. We've got a fantastic lineup of guests, as well as our engineer extraordinaire, Nick the Geek, our entire crew here at the Asylum, and me. I'm John Bon Jovial. And now, here's the voice of indie music, the David Bowers.
Oh, thank you very much, the legendary John Bon Jovial. And thank you, listeners around the world. And I've been wondering about that. I've noticed on the news recently, for some reason in the last, 6 months to a year, they have suddenly started saying across the world. And I'm trying to wrap my head around that, and maybe that's the problem. I'm trying to wrap around it instead of across it. But the last I knew, most people accepted the fact that the world was a globe. It is a round, so you can't go across the world. You can go across the United States, or you can go across the ocean, but you have to go around the world.
This change in verbiage is brought to you by the Flat Earth Society.
I'm sorry I mentioned that. Thank you, listeners, wherever you are. Welcome to the David Bowers Awards here on Blog Talk Radio, as well as your favorite podcast platform, and also WRFZ, FM 106.3, Rochester Free Radio in Rochester, New York, where Mary Perry, an accredited disability representative, underwrites the David Bowers Awards so that all of our listeners in Rochester can hear us, including all of our fine friends and patrons of the House of Guitars in Rochester. Hello to you, too. You can hear us now on all these exciting places, Apple, which is now the Apple Podcast platform, YouTube, Spreaker, iTunes, Mixcloud, and, all of them, even the Podcoin, the app that pays you to listen to podcasts. So you have no excuse not to listen to us. And if your favorite podcast platform does not carry the David Bowers Awards, then how the heck are you listening to us? Never mind. If you've got a platform that doesn't have it, you write them and tell them that you want to hear the David Bowers Awards because we play such great indie music, and we've got a new one for you right here, folks. Here is Matt Westin. Hey, bro.
Didn't break, just a couple of rowdy renegades. When we blew it up, tore it down like Jesse James to come back around. Getting caught, getting high, I took your blame and you took mine. Saying, hey bro, I got your back. Dare anybody to go jacking with that? No, hey bro, I know you got mine, yeah. Some things run thicker than a bloodline. Got you covered, my brother, from another mother down in a back road. You might go, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Hey, bro. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Gotta say, beats me how we made it through alive, but here we are, living the life a little bit smarter, but we're slight sometimes. So we go for broke, pay the cost. Always said we were cut out of the same cloth. Some things never change, and here's one more that's still the same. Hey bro, I got your back. Dare anybody to go jacking with that? No, hey bro, I know you got mine, yeah. Some things run thicker than a bloodline. Got you covered, my brother, from another mother down in a back road. You might go, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh. Hey bro.
There you go. Singer, actor, and a lucky day. He released that Friday the 13th. That is Matt Westin and Hey Bro, and he's got a heck of an interesting story, and I think he's got a hit on his hands with that. That's one of those things that can catch on, especially when people realize that the theme of the song is a tribute to our military and first responders. He's a Pittsburgh guy, and he comes to us from our friends at MTS, Michael Stover's production and marketing company, and who knows, we might even be able to get Matt here on the show. That's a good, interesting song. I can definitely hear it played in clubs and bars around the country. I got a hunch you're going to hear a little more of that. What you say, John Bon Jovial?
Well, bro, I like it. It's got a nice driving beat to it, I was going to hit on the bar thing. I think that you called it right there. That's one of those things that's going to be on a jukebox, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to hear that song, and especially the more beer, wine, and or hard liquor they consume, I think the more that song might be played. It's a good song. He does a good job on it.
Yeah, he does. And like I said, he's got an interesting story himself. He's an engineer turned singer, actor, and performer. And I think that it might be interesting to get him on the show and hear his whole story. He's had some radio singles that have gotten some airplay. He was named the 2018 International Music and Entertainment Association's Male Country Artist of the Year. And he was nominated for several other industry awards, too. He had a single out earlier this year, Stomp On, which I think we played here on the show several months ago. It reached the iTunes Country Song Top 40, so he's not unaccustomed to a degree of success. And, yeah, I think that he's going to extend his reach with Hey Bro. We'll never know until we find out, but... how's it by you? Hey, bro, there, John Bon Jovial.
John Bon Brovial. Yeah, that's, yeah. Well, okay. That was a very poor attempt at a joke that got severely butchered.
I'm sorry, did we wake you or something?
Yeah. Now, what is going on in Southwest Florida? Well, we are transitioning into our fall weather here in the great sunshine state of Florida, where the highs are going to go from an average of 93 or 94 during the day with 1,000% humidity down to a chilly 90 with about 750% humidity. So, we're going to have to break out the parkas here pretty soon and wrap a muffler around our neck and get the galoshes out because, if it does rain a little bit, we don't want our flip-flops to get wet. So, that's kind of what's going on in Florida right now. Other than the fact that it's September, it's a slow month. Everybody's just kind of out taking it easy right now, waiting for the snowbirds to return, which they shall start their annual migration next month. And as a businessman, I view it with mixed emotions. It's great because I love the profit that we make off of them. But at the same time, the level of road rage sometimes can exceed the value of the money that they're spending.
I understand that. But hey, at least we fulfilled the promise to see you in September, and moving right on from that. Right here on the show, where every show is an award show, and we will never award one to ourselves, but that makes each of our guests award winners, and we want to thank you.
No,
Bingo,
wait a minute.
Sometimes
sometimes we're really pretty stupid, so we do deserve an award.
Yeah, well, that's speak for yourself.
But that's every week, so what the heck?
Where was I? Oh, we were saluting Titty Bingo, our house band, and they provide, of course, our theme song, and they've got some great rock and roll you can check out by going to tittybingo.com, and it is, of course, available. They, in addition to being a good house band and a great Texas rock band, they back up a lot of name artists. I know they work with Willie quite a bit and several other artists, but they do have their own original style of rock and roll. I think you're going to like it. Check them out, tittybingo.com. It's always time to play Titty Bingo. And remember, this is the show where you, as well as our guests, help us pick the awards. There's no nominations, no naming panels, phony voting, or anything like that. Somebody does or says something good or stupid, and they get an award. Simple and easy as that. So if you've got someone or something that you just think deserves a music award, write us at david@TheDavidBowers.com. Put awards in the subject line and send it on out to us. Who knows? You may hear your award right here on the show with, of course, proper attribution. We will definitely embarrass you by mentioning your name right along with the award. And we want to issue our first award of this week, and that goes to Mr. Ken Burns and his new PBS series, Country Music. And I have watched it, and I can tell you, from my point of view, this is Ken Burns at his best. As most of you probably already know, he has done several wonderful series in the past, and this one lives up. In some ways, I think it exceeds the ones he's done already. Of course, I may be biased because we are, you might say, music-oriented here, but it starts out with the roots of American music, and it just follows along step by step right down the line. It is really an in-depth study of music in America, and while it does base on country music, obviously with a name like Country Music, it really is American music. When you stop to think about it, all of our music evolved from the early days in this country, and a lot of it was brought from around the world by the people who came from around the world. And so it's an amalgam of styles and ethnicities, and this series follows that seed being planted here in the New World and its growth over the over the decades. And if you missed it, I think you should go out of your way to see it. It is that good. John Bon Jovi, have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it yet. However, I'm aware of it. I have DVR'd it, and I've got a season pass all set up for it. So we'll probably, do a binge and try to, watch as much of it as we can. But I just know that anything that Ken Burns touches turns to gold, whether it is his marvelous, legendary series on the Civil War, baseball, the national parks. Everything he touches pretty much turns to gold. So, I very much plan on watching it, and I very much plan on enjoying it.
You will. It is an excellent series. Of course, everything he touches is done well, and this one doesn't disappoint. I would expect this to be up for some awards after it's finished, because it is an excellent history of music in America. So don't let the name country music throw you completely. It is country music in many aspects, but it is also American music. It's the history of music in America, and we salute him. Great series, and congratulations, Ken Burns, on another